Hey, and welcome to Halifacts Oasis. I'm here today with Thurstie Sherman. She is the chair of the Southside Virginia Conservative Club, and we're going to have a conversation about a lot of things today. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoy this. Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's start with just some background. Tell me about yourself, where you're from and your relationship to the county, etc.
Born and raised right here in Halifax County. Live on the family farm. I got interested, I've always been interested in politics, but I really got involved when Trump ran the very first time. I got really involved in that, and it's all kind of led to me being the chairperson for the Southside Virginia Conservatives Club.
Okay.
I enjoy it. I want to do whatever I can to help the community grow.
Mm.
There's a lot that needs to be done, so it's becoming my passion now.
Right. Okay. How involved, tell me about the Conservative Party, because my understanding, what I've been told, is there was a Republican Party and then it's split in two and there's a Conservative and a Republican. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me the background and history of that?
I'll say this about that.
Patient support.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I thought I turned it off. Yes, I was a member of the Republican Party for a few years, and then some things changed and some of us were not welcome into the Republican Party anymore. So we split, and the Southside Virginia Conservatives Club was formed.
Do you still consider yourself a Republican or independent, or?
We are a mixture of all. We're all conservative now, and that doesn't mean that you have to be a Republican.
Right.
Because Democrats and independents and liberals, I think a lot of us are conservative. So we don't go by party affiliations.
Right.
As long as you're conservative, you can join our group. Everybody is welcome.
Define conservative for me then, because everybody has different definitions of words.
You're right, and I'm not sure I can really describe that.
Okay.
One of the main things I think that our group, to me it's two things. One, community involvement. That's really important. We try to do community events. Matter of fact, we have an event coming up the last Saturday of March that's free for the community to come out to. But we also are conservative. We don't like wasteful spending.
Mm.
We don't like a lot of what's going on, not just in the state, but on the national level. And so that's what we do. We try to find out as much information as we can about everything. And then we we support politicians that have our same views.
So do you have, formally, what would you call it? A mission statement or something representative of the group?
We do, and unfortunately I did not bring that with me tonight.
That's okay.
And my memory is not the best.
Same here.
But we do, and I'm sorry, I just can't remember exactly what the motto
That's totally
is.
fine. How many are in the group approximately?
I actually looked at my book before I came over here today, and right now we currently have 29 paid members.
Right.
We have more than that come to the meetings a lot of times, and it's only $20 to become a member, and that's for the year.
Annually? Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And you have to be part of Halifax County, right? It's obviously, I'm guessing.
Right now, most of us are. When the club was formed, the hope was to spread out into other counties.
Right.
As I'm sure you know, that's kind of hard to do right now because a lot of people, people are busy.
Right.
They just don't have time to do a lot of the extracurricular things anymore.
Very
They're just so busy.
I see it more as disconnection than busy, really.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, I don't know what it is. It's almost like this doesn't matter to them,
It's a lot of things, yeah.
It is, but we really need to get involved with politics, and you don't have to be involved as I am. I'm the chair of this, and then I also work every election at the polls.
Right.
So you don't have to be that involved, but you need to make your voice heard. And so that's kind of our outlet. You can come to us. Hopefully you'll want to join and be part of a different
how often do you meet and where?
We meet once a month.
Once a month
It is the third Monday of every month
in South Boston?
at 6 o'clock, at the Halifax South Boston Museum.
Okay, all right. And you said the third Monday.
The third Monday.
I'm just thinking, because I tell you, it's like, some of the towns and the board have the meetings at the same time, and if you wanna get, you just can't. 'Cause
Well, that's like
nothing's
Monday
Saturday.
night, there's a board of supervisors meeting Monday night
In
because
South
they had to
Boston.
cancel it the week before.
Right.
But there was also a school board meeting.
And South Boston's town
Mhm.
council meeting, because I
Mhm.
wanted to go to that. But anyway, yeah, so it's hard.
Sometimes
get
I wish
fully
I had,
engaged.
sometimes I wish there was like 3 or 4 of me,
I
so I
feel
could go to everything.
I feel exactly the same way. But most of them do live stream, so you can catch up. I know school board live streams, the industrial board, they live stream, the board of supervisors live stream. But the problem I know with the board is you can't hear it and you can't see it very well.
Mhm.
They need to tweak that. But anyway, so I want to back up. I want to touch on a couple things you said. So that's the group, that's the size, that's when they meet. Let's back up when you said that you branched off the Republican Party because you felt some of you weren't welcome. Can you tell me more about that?
I'm not gonna get into that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, was it philosophical or personal
I'm
or?
not gonna get into that.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna get into that.
No, that's totally fine. Let's focus on moving forward with what you guys do. All right. So I'd like for you to email me what your mission statement or whatever that is at
Okay.
some point, and then I can put that at the end of this or talk about it in my
Okay.
intro or something like that. All right. So you said you have an event coming up. Tell me about that.
It is.
And all your events. Tell me about those.
It is March I think it's the 28th. It's the last Saturday in March, and it's from noon to 4, and it's going to be at Edmonds Park.
Mhm.
It doesn't cost anything. It's called Fly a Kite.
Fly a kite.
We did this last year, and the community really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of the members really enjoyed it, especially the older men. I think they really enjoyed it. You can either bring your own kite, or I will have kites there for sale for $10 each.
Okay. And what is this raising money for?
We're not raising any money. This
Oh.
is just strictly a community event, just to get kind of like-minded people together and just do something that hasn't been done here, that's just for fun.
Okay. And that's flying kites.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At Edmonds
It was
Park.
last year, and the people really, really enjoyed
Do you
it.
make a flyer of it?
I do, and hopefully I will have that. The girl is working on it now, so I'm hoping I'm going to actually have that Friday, and I'm going to get some printed, and they're going to be distributed throughout the county.
And if you send it to me, I have a website that
Okay.
I post as many community events as I can get. I keep asking everybody, please send them to me. But it's like herding kittens sometimes, you know?
It is.
Because I really like promoting like the fire departments when they do
Mhm.
fundraisers and all that good stuff, you know, trying to get that out there. Or, you know, sometimes the churches do things like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so how often do you do events? Do you do fundraising events? What are some other events you do?
The other event that we kind of have on schedule for this year, we tried to do it this past year, and Christmas kind of snuck up on us this past year, just the way the calendar ran. Excuse me. I don't know how many people have watched the Great Christmas Light Fight on TV, and it's been on TV for several years now.
Is it something local?
No, this is a nationwide thing.
Okay.
And you submit an application to this company, and they come and they judge houses all over the United States.
Okay.
Now, that show, it's to the nth degree. So we want to do something here similar to that. I guess you would say that's kind of a fundraiser, because there will be an entry fee.
Right.
We want to do 2 different categories, one for residential and one for business.
Okay.
And then we'll give a trophy for whichever one it is.
Have you done this before, or is this new something?
We were going to do it this past year, but it just, like I said, time just got,
Right.
the calendar just didn't work out. It was like, felt like it was a week between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
You know, so we didn't get it out there.
Okay. But
Quick
that's something
enough.
you're planning for this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Really, other than that, right now, we don't have any other public events coming up. We will be having, at our monthly meetings, guest speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, it's kind of local politicians or politicians that represent this area.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, Madison Whittle has been to several of our meetings.
Who's Madison Whittle?
He's one of his district here, he's a state delegate,
Mhm.
and he has part of Halifax, part of Danville.
Mhm.
And then we have Tommy Wright, which is the northern end of the county,
Mhm. Okay.
up close to Charlotte Courthouse
And,
and through.
what type of candidates, what party are they affiliated with?
They are both Republicans.
Okay.
They're delegates in the state.
So you've had them two speak. Who else have you had speak?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember who all we had last year. But we also encourage like local businesses. We've had board of supervisors. We've had the sheriff come. We've had recently the county administrator, the new county administrator come. So it's,
What do you think of him?
I love Ron, but Ron and I graduated high school together, so
Right.
we've been friends since 1983.
Yeah.
So
How do
I
you
love
feel
Ron.
about him in the position of candidate? I've interviewed him on the show, and I just thought he was wonderful because he's just so intelligent.
He really, really is. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a great pedigree to go along with him.
He does.
But Ron is the kind of person, he's gonna look at a situation, and he's gonna look at the pros and the cons, and then from that, he's gonna make a decision. He's not just gonna make a decision just because he can.
Right.
He's gonna look at all the facts,
Right.
and he's gonna figure out what's gonna be best for the county.
Right.
And I think he's gonna do a really good job. I mean, Ron and I have, like I said, we've been friends since '83.
Fingers crossed. I hope so.
Yeah. We've been friends since 1983. We met when we were in the 8th grade, and we've had several meetings, or not really meetings, but we went out to dinner to eat a couple of times.
Right.
Because we just hadn't seen each other really since 1988. God, I feel old saying that.
That's when I had my first daughter.
Ah.
So I know what you mean, I tell you.
So I think Ron's going to do a really, really good job. And Ron is very, very interested in the youth in this county.
Yeah.
Which is really, really important, because those youth are going to grow up to be adults, and they're going to be the ones making the decisions in the future.
Mm.
So we really need to spend time and energy
Yeah.
on the young people.
Okay, that's a perfect segue, because I wanted to get into, before we get into any specific local stuff, you said something about getting people involved and getting people knowledgeable of civics, and now we're talking about youth, and that's exactly right. How do we, first let's talk about why. Why are people not engaging? Why are they disconnected? Why are they not getting involved in the local politics? And especially when we talk, it's not just young, it's old, but I think young is just a lot of lack of familiarity and education. What do you think about all those different aspects I mentioned?
I think a lot of people think that my vote doesn't count.
Mm.
That one vote doesn't make a difference. But if you have 10,000 people that think my vote doesn't count, that's 10,000 people that are not being, what is the word I'm looking for? They're not being represented.
Mm. Right.
So it's really important that everybody get out and vote. Now, with the younger people, I just don't think that they know enough about civics and politics and elections. COVID really did a number on the kids.
Mm.
It really, really did. I've got a niece and nephew, and they're like, why vote?
Mm.
Why waste my time? My brother's the same way. It's pulling teeth to get my brother, who lives beside me, to go and vote.
Do they even teach civics in high school anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think they do, because I very distinctly remember back when I graduated in 1980, and we had government, we knew all about the branches, this and that.
Yes.
These kids don't know anything these days.
Exactly.
Seems like it.
And and everything is, this core stuff. And I'm totally
Yeah.
against that. I'm totally against SOLs, because the only thing that SOL does is you memorize to take the test.
It's test driven, yeah.
You don't
exactly.
learn it.
Right, right,
And I've talked to a lot of people that are teachers, and they just don't have time to teach anymore,
right,
because they have to cover these SOLs.
right.
And that's cheating the children.
Yeah.
These children, these teenagers, these young people are going to be the ones making the decisions for you and me.
Mm, yeah.
Are they going to put us in a nursing home? Are they going to let us just lay
Well,
there
they're
and
even
die?
be a nursing home.
Yeah, so, you know,
Yeah.
it's really important. We really need to reach out to them, and if anybody's got a suggestion on how to get them, call me.
You know what I was thinking? If we could somehow present politics as a game,
Yeah.
that your decisions and your interaction and what you do is going to affect the outcome that will affect you in the end.
Can you design that game?
Oh God, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that's what, like this fly kite.
Yeah,
You know, that's a chance where even if you don't want to fly a kite, you're still welcome to come to this event.
right.
And you know, I urge everybody to come and sit down and talk with, because most of the members are going to be there.
Right.
Come sit down, talk to us, find out exactly what we're about. You know, discuss your concerns with us,
Yeah.
and you know, we can go from there.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm reaching out to everybody.
Yeah.
Now, contact me back.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't just talk about it, take action. That's a big
Right.
motive. We need to motivate
And
there.
this year is a very, very important year.
Mm.
Very important. There's so many things going on at the state level.
Mm.
Some of them, in my opinion and what research I've done, are unconstitutional.
Mm.
And the government, whether it's local, state, or federal, need to listen to the people. You've seen me at the Board of Supervisors meetings.
Yeah, and I'm
And
gonna
you've seen me talk, and you know, one thing that I always say to them is don't forget, we are your boss. You're not our boss.
right.
And that goes, you know, state and federal. You know,
Right.
all these politicians, one, need to remember that they're not the boss. The people are the boss.
Right.
That is the people's house in Richmond and in D.C.
Mm.
The other thing, you know, we need term limits.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But wait, before
Yes.
we delve into specifics again,
Mhm.
let's go back to the kids. Because I know sitting down, and I've had to do this with other things, like doing a round table with them and getting their ideas. For example, let's relate this to local politics.
Mhm.
There's the big Edmonds Park project.
Mhm.
Why aren't we getting the kids' feedback? Maybe something like that would engage them that, hey, this is being built for you. You need to have a say in it, you know?
I
To
think
get
kids
them
are,
to understand that it
I
affects
think they're
them.
so disconnected,
Yeah,
and I think they don't care, and I don't blame them
yeah,
for not caring. I blame the school system. I blame the state for shutting down the schools when COVID came through. Because these kids, I mean, my niece was one of those that was out of school.
mm,
You know, she didn't get to go, and she lost so much.
yeah,
You know, and we really cheated these kids, and now, because we cheated them then, they don't respect us now.
But don't you think technology is a big part of this too?
I think
They are
technology is a
so-
problem.
Yeah, they're so involved in their phones and not sitting
Yeah,
down
they're
and talking
like-
to each other.
They're like this all the time.
Go into any fast food restaurant and you find them
Mhm.
sitting at the table, nobody's even talking to each other. Yeah,
And that's
it's
why-
sad.
That's like if you text me, chances are I'm gonna call you because I'm not a texter. I don't like texting. I want to talk to you.
Right,
I want to hear your voice.
right.
I would love to have a round table discussion and invite the kids out.
Right.
You come out and tell us what your concerns are. Let's see if we can help, or if we can at least explain
Right.
why this is going on.
And that's the thing now, you're gonna have to incentivize it. You gotta have pizza, you gotta tell them this is about your entertainment, because they complain and bitch and carry on about nothing to do here.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to get involved on what because they're big projects that would involve what they do here.
And there is nothing to do here.
You drive around in Walmart parking lot getting in trouble.
Well, I remember, like I said, I graduated in 1988, and there was always something for us to do. And you would ride through town, and you would see different groups hanging out at different places.
Right.
You ride through town now, at 8 o'clock, South Boston is dead.
Yeah, yeah.
But we had the Grapevine to go to.
What was the grapevine?
It was the hip restaurant for us troublemakers.
Right,
To go.
right.
It was one of the best restaurants, in my opinion, that we had here.
Right.
So you had that. You had Steve's.
What was Steve's?
Steve's was a bar and nightclub
Right.
on, I think, it's been a long time ago, but it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think. And yeah, I was there every Thursday. I mean, not Thursday. I was there every Friday and Saturday
As a
night.
teenager?
I probably started going there when I was 19, 20.
Right.
Because it was alcohol, you did have to have ID. I probably was 21 because you did have to have ID
Right.
to go in. Then there was Courtview Lounge. That was another one that was really, really big.
Right.
And it was just open. I think it was open on, I don't know, maybe Thursday nights. You didn't. I think you could get in at any age, but you would have to be stamped if you were old enough to drink.
Right.
We younger, we had the skating rink. The skating rink is a joke now.
I was just going to say, we've got World of Sports, but they took skating away. I used to love to skate when I was young, yeah.
Well, if you go up, the last time I went over there, and it's been a long time, but the little kids had these little things that they held on to skate. Now, I don't know if it's changed. I hadn't been there in years.
I don't think, no, they've got like, you walk in and there's like arcade games, then there's the bowling, and then in the back they got bumper cars, axe throwing, and
The
golf,
axe throwing is so much fun.
and golf simulation. I haven't tried any of those, but you know, because once the skating was gone, it's like I'd go there for movies or something, but that'd be about it.
You need to go do the axe throwing. That's really fun. Even though I'm in this chair,
Right,
I'm able to stand some.
right.
And doing the axe, so I was so impressed with myself. And the guy that was working that day really helped me out a lot. And I was able to actually stand up
Right.
and keep my hand on the wall and throw the axe and actually hit the bullseye a couple of times. I was
Wow.
so proud of myself. So please, go there. It's fun. Go there.
Yeah. There's I think they're kind of finding their way as well.
Yeah.
You know, because of just so much different things going on in the last few years. But other than World of Sports, the Walmart parking lot, and I'm talking about 14, 15, 16-year-olds, you know, they can't go to a bar, they can't go to places like that. What is there for them to do?
You tell me.
Yeah, because I don't even think there's pool tables in World of Sports anymore. I think those are gone
I
too.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those were gone.
I mean,
when I
it's been
saw.
years since
Yeah.
I've been over there.
Yeah, not that that's the end all for them to do, but if there was like something that, you know, just for them, and we've got so many empty buildings here that could be renovated, you know, and you had pool tables, something that's safe, something where it's a good environment and they're not good, because you know what they're doing out in the parking lot. Things they shouldn't be doing.
Well, you know, I don't know if they are or not, because I don't know. They're different than we were.
Yeah.
They think differently than we do. So I don't know. I really don't know, because I've asked my niece and nephew, and all they do is they go to somebody's house and they sit and just hang out, and that's not good.
Yeah.
These, whether it's a kid, a teenager, or a young adult, they need to be around other people.
Yes.
Because I've thought, you know, if I had the money, you know, the food line in Centerville, that's
Yeah.
the one that's empty
Yeah.
over there near Tractor Supply,
Mhm.
that would be a great place to have a nightclub in.
Yeah. Yep. It would. It would. There's several little places like that for something, but I saw something recently on YouTube about products of the 70s. If you grew up in the 70s and 80s, we would say, "I'm bored," and what would our parents tell us?
They'd send you out to work.
Go find something to do.
We had to go
You-
pick up rocks out the fields.
Yeah, or something. They'd just find something to do. So you had to problem solve and do it yourself. Whereas now it's instant gratification. You know, so they don't have those problem solving skills that we have.
Right.
And I feel so bad for young kids today.
I feel like it's child neglect.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's kind of heavy.
Well, if you...
I think a lot of people just don't know any better. It's cyclical, you know? That you don't have to have a license to raise a child, and you should.
And I don't have any children, so I can't speak from experience,
Right,
as far as personal experience,
right.
other than my niece and nephew. And I was really close to, especially my niece when she was growing up and all, but I don't think... when her and her brother would mess up, their mother would say, "I don't know what to do with them." So they'd come to me, and I would make them literally pick rocks up and sticks up out of my yard. You know, because they don't have to do anything. There's no consequences to what they do.
My dad would make us go cut the switch off the tree.
Oh yes. And if you didn't bring the right one back, he'd send you out again. And then the whipping was worse.
Not to say that that's the right thing to do, but you're right. There doesn't seem to be consequences for things that happen. And
See, I don't have a problem with that. I think I think that straightened out a lot of kids from my era and my age. And I guess people would say we were scared of our parents. I don't see it that way. I see it as I respected my parents. My dad died in 2013. You know, he can still make me walk a straight line
Oh, yeah, how so?
because I'm always thinking, what would my daddy say about me doing this?
Right,
What would my daddy say? What would my daddy think? And I guess some people think that's crazy, but that's how strong of a bond we had.
right,
So this is what, 2026?
yeah,
And that was in he died in 2013, and like I said, he still makes me walk a straight line.
Right.
Every decision that I make, I think, what would my daddy say?
right, gotcha.
So, and people that knew my daddy, they completely understand that.
Yeah. I had 3 daughters, and for the most part, I was a single mom, and I had no idea what I was doing. I made some awful mistakes, but I recognize that, I own that, and try to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when they were in high school, I got them cell phones. They had just come out, the old flip phones.
Uh-huh.
Now, in hindsight, should never done it. Should've
Look,
never
I
done
thought I was doing good when I got my first pager.
it. I remember those. Were they Blackberries?
No, I never
That was
had a
the fancy one,
BlackBerry.
I think.
I never had that. I had just a little cheap one, and I thought that, oh God, this is just so wonderful. I guess kids don't even know what pagers are now.
No.
And then when I got my first cell phone, and it was the bag phone,
Right, right. Yep, I remember.
and I
those.
thought, oh my gosh, I am so privileged now. And now I think, God, I wish I could get rid of this cell phone.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have everything on my cell phone. You know, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
But I wish kids would.
Time-
Well, not
time
just
management.
kids. Not just kids. It's adults are just as bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, you know, a cell phone can be very advantageous
Mm.
if you use it for the right reasons.
Mm.
You know, and I'm just as bad. I play games on my phone too. But if I need to look something up, I can look it up, and I can stay in communication with people that I haven't seen or talked to in years.
Right. Right. Well, and you can keep lists on it. You can do your
Mhm.
banking on it. Yeah, there's a lot. But we seem to have substituted a social life for it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's not healthy, I think, too. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So we've talked a little bit about young people not being engaged in politics and why. Now let's move on to your involvement, because this is how we met. It was kind of twofold. Someone had given me your name because I had wanted to talk to the Republican, the Democrat, all the parties I want to interview, which I've done some,
Mhm.
and I'm still reaching out to some
Mhm.
that don't reach out back. Hint, hint. So that, and also because I cover board meetings. Thurstie, is it okay to call you Thurstie?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
She you speak pretty much at every one.
I have been, yes.
Yeah, pretty vocal at it. So tell me when you first approached the board, how you felt about that, what was the burning issue that made, because a lot of people will not get up there and talk to the board.
Well, a lot of people don't even come to the meetings, and
Exactly.
they you really need to come to these meetings.
Mm.
It's your future, it's your county,
It's your tax dollars.
it is your tax dollars. You need to come to these meetings and have your voice be heard.
Yeah. So tell me about your relationship with the board.
I don't even remember how long I've been involved with going. I just got vocal in the last few months, I guess. I'm not scared to say what I think.
Was there something that, was
I
there
don't-
an impetus to?
Honestly, I can't remember
Mm.
what got me going to start with. It may have been just because I was involved with the conservative club. Honestly, I just don't remember.
Okay.
But I have been going to each of them on it. Maybe it's a year, maybe more than a year now.
Okay.
Because I know my brother owns a racetrack, and so he had to go before the board to get that approved, and of course I went and supported that.
Mm.
Yeah, I probably started going regularly once all this came up about the solar farms.
Okay.
It's probably when I started going. I didn't start getting vocal until the last few months. And I don't get vocal to be, hey, look at me.
Right.
I'm trying to stand up for the citizens
Right.
because I'm not afraid to talk.
So what is the reception of you? Like, I mean, for the most part, the board doesn't really even acknowledge people. It just moves on,
Mhm.
you know. Have you had any type of reception from, I'm not saying to name board members, but, you know, has anybody ever said to you, like, you know, you need to chill out, or thank you for speaking? No feedback at all?
No
What-
negative feedback at all, and I know all of them except for 2 members that I don't personally know.
Right.
The rest of them I personally know, and Some of them we talk to, some of them are in my club, not my club, in the conservative club.
Right.
And I've texted and I've talked on the phone to several of them. So I feel like I have a really good open communication line.
So it's positive
them.
feedback. It's not negative feedback.
Right. And when I speak, I don't know if you remember in January. No, I take that. I did not speak in January. I think I spoke in December. And I complimented them because I don't believe you should just criticize. I believe you need to give kudos when they do something that I think is right or good.
Yeah.
So I try to be balanced when I do speak to them. And I feel like I'm speaking for the community. Because like I said, I'm not scared to get up and talk. I did public speaking in high school for years and years and years.
Right.
So talking in front of people does not bother me. And
what about reception from the public?
yeah, I've not had anybody really say anything.
Really? Okay.
People, and that's one of my things with the board meet, not just the board meetings, but politics in general.
Mm.
Make your voice be heard.
Mm.
I can talk for you, and I can yell and scream for you, but if you don't become active, what I say and do doesn't matter.
Mm.
So I'm begging Halifax County residents to get involved. You can join our club. You can join the Republican club, the Democrat club. Just get involved. Now, yes, I hope that you come to the conservative club, but just get involved. Know what you're voting for. Know what's going on, because there's a lot of things coming up by the end of this year that most people don't know about.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it doesn't affect them personally, and that a lot of people get involved once it affects them personally?
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to think that too. Okay, let's move into some more specifics. Now, you mentioned solar farms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very knowledgeable about it. I've only learned a little bit through the meetings and what people talk about. I kind of understand what one side thinks versus what the other side thinks. But as far as, this is why I got my phone right here. I'd have to fact check myself. Because I'm not going to claim knowledge about everything. I'm quite ignorant on it, But I do hear, positive and negative. Tell me what your opinion is of that. Because you said that was kind of part of an impetus of you starting to speak up.
The solar farms, there's only 3 areas in the county that they can be in. And it's because they have to have, the big, thick electrical lines that you see, especially if you go to Hupp's Mill and look at the utility pole, it's got those big lines. So you have to be somewhere that's got those huge lines going to the transformers.
Okay, I'm super visual. Here's the county. What 3 areas? Like the north?
It is the Alton area,
Alton's south.
like Cluster Springs.
That's south.
Yes.
Okay.
Then it is the Clover area.
Which is east. Northeast or northwest? Clover. I think it's northeast.
East. It's east.
Yeah, northeast. Okay.
And then, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like the Nathalie area.
And that's north.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. I've got a picture in my head. So those are the 3 areas that are eligible to even have a solar farm.
Right.
Pretty much.
And we can only have, if there's and I don't know the percentage, not everybody can have a solar farm. We can, there's a percentage, and you can't go over that percentage to have a solar farm in the county.
Right, and you have to have a certain amount of property and, acreage, and there's other rules, right?
I think so, and I think the land pretty much has to be flat for it to work.
Right.
And I see both sides of it. If you're a landowner, you should be able to do what you want to with your land.
Mm. That's one thing I've heard, yes.
But on the other side of it, it does create a lot of traffic, especially when, from what I understand, especially when they're installing the...
But that's temporary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, to my knowledge, we don't have a distribution center here where all the power goes to be distributed. And it's actually what they told us.
Who's they?
the powers that be, just different people I've talked to that had some knowledge, and this has been over years,
Right.
that it will make our electric bills come down. Well, that's not so. That has not happened.
Mm.
I also talked to, a few years ago when all this kind of first started, I talked to somebody from, I think he was from Mecklenburg Electric, that I met him. He and I both were in Richmond for different things and just happened to cross paths. And what he told me, now whether this is true or not, this is what he told me, that when they come out and they set the farm up, they are responsible for the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
They are also responsible for the border that goes around it. When your contract is finished, whether you have a 10, 20, 50-year contract, and I have not seen a contract, personally, I would love to get my hands on one so I can actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
That once that contract is over with, if you decide that you don't want to continue doing it, that they come in, they tear everything down, and they return the soil to the same pH level and all that it was before.
Right.
Now, that's what he told me. I have not seen a contract,
Do you,
so I can't 100% say that that's how it works.
do you know how many solar farms are in Halifax County?
I do not.
There's at least 2 I know of.
At least.
Yeah. That would be interesting to have that conversation and see that with them, because most of what I've seen and heard is, it's like you, it's just talk from different people
Mhm.
over time. And the cons of it are, one is aesthetics, it just doesn't look good, but that's their setbacks now, I think, where they have to cover all that. And did you know Halifax, I do know Halifax County is one of the most regulated for solar farms in the state.
I did not know that, but that's good.
Yeah, so, and then we, of course, the obvious thing is that we need revenue. Yeah, so that's, I think,
Mhm.
what's weighing it up. We have the pros and the cons. One is for revenue, and then one is potentially damage to the environment and aesthetics.
And what the county needs to do is they need to put in the paper or on their website what revenue has come in
What they have so far.
from that.
Yeah, yeah.
The county needs to be held accountable too, and I guess that's why I'm kind of so loud
Mhm.
about it, is I want to know.
Well, they keep saying they're gonna have town halls on everything, and I wanna be fair now. We just had a big turnover with the board of supervisors. They need to, get settled and all that good stuff. But at some point, they all said, well, not all of them, a lot of them said they were gonna have town halls.
That's one of my goals.
Is to help maybe host town halls or
Yes.
help get involved or kick them in the butt for them to do it. Because that's the thing, people, they fuss and they talk and they carry on, but they don't have the facts in hand. And they, they don't get the communication. It's both ways.
Well, and not only that, they fuss back and forth to each other. They don't ask the
Right.
person that can give the
Right.
right answer.
Right,
And I do think town halls I think that they should be done.
right.
I'll be more than willing to host it or MC it.
We can even do it where people can call in remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to do this stuff. And it would just, because this is why I started this podcast, was to build bridges. Because you got people on this side of the county and this side of the county that have no idea what's going on with each other. And then you got the central people trying to run things, and then these fuss and that. And it's the connection we need. 'Cause-
Exactly.
Yeah, because we are disconnected. Sorry. Anyway, all right. So it sounds like the jury's kind of out with you on solar farms. You're not really pro or con.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're a landowner, it's your business.
Right.
I do understand neighbors' complaints though, because there needs to be a better border between the solar farm and the neighbor's property.
Right.
I do understand that, and I do agree with that.
Right. Gotcha. Let's talk about revenue topics, because obviously this county needs revenue. I think that might be something that's hindering a lot of progress to attract more people or keep the kids here. Data centers, that's another avenue of revenue that's been bandied about. I know Mecklenburg got one, but then there's also a lot of pushback on it because we don't really know long-term effects and it takes so much power and water, but now they're saying they're gonna provide. Do you know a lot about that, or have any
I do
feelings
not.
about it?
I'm sorry, I do not know anything about that, so I can't honestly respond to that.
Right.
I don't want to, tell a lie. I don't know.
No. I'm just want to get your opinion on some of these ideas for revenue, because that greatly affects the county. I've suggested hemp. We got all this land here,
I used to work in Carolina. I was a paramedic in
right?
Carolina. And one of the guys that I met there owned a huge farm, huge
Right.
tobacco farm.
Right.
And when it first came out, where you could grow hemp, he did that. And he was going to use his tobacco equipment to harvest the hemp.
Right.
It tore his machines off to pieces.
Mm.
So I don't know how much revenue John Q. Public can get from growing hemp.
Right.
And hemp is not, it's not weed. It's not
Right.
pot. There is a difference, and I don't think
The stuff
people
you can
understand
make
that.
out of it. God, you can make clothes, concrete, everything. But of course they need a place to do that and process it. I know one farmer that owns a big farm in the county here was like, "Don't say that; it's a dirty word. Don't mention solar." Don't and I was like, "Okay." But shouldn't there be like a committee to research these things? It's like the board already has so much responsibility. How do we, town halls, discussing it, processing it, how do we, because number one, we're talking about progress.
Mhm.
That's what you want to be involved in, right?
Yes.
All right, revenue's going to be a top
Mhm.
thing, and that's, well, what do you, so give me more feedback on that. Revenue ideas, what can we do? How can we communicate as a county to get these good revenue success stories going?
Revenue for the county. Let me go back.
Sure.
They need to cut expenses.
Okay, that'd be a great new topic, because I was gonna ask you next, what do you think are the fallbacks, the things that are big areas of opportunity for our success? Obviously, we need revenue, now let's talk about the other side.
I think any government entity wastes money. Sorry, Ron. But I do. I would love to get a copy of the entire county budget. And I know you can go to Halifax and you can submit a FOIA request
Mm-hmm.
to get that.
Yep.
I do really need to do that. I keep putting it off. I really do need to do that because I think that they should publish that in the paper. It's public information, and to me, with them not doing that, it's kind of shady looking.
Mm-hmm. Not just the county, all the boards, all the agencies, everything, because I've done some FOIA work myself, and it's a little sketch looking.
It needs to be put out in public. Can't think of anything off the top of my head that, let me say this. There is one piece of property in the county that the county rents
Mm-hmm.
out to citizens for use of this property. But other people can still come. Right, that's wrong.
Okay, I'm not quite following that. There's a piece of property that the county owns, and they rent it out to one entity, but anybody kind of uses it?
Yes.
Okay. You don't want to give me more details, I can tell. Oh my goodness. Okay.
And if I'm going to pay to rent something,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then that's my space
Mm-hmm.
for ever how long that I rented it
Right,
for.
sure, of course, yeah.
If I'm going to pay to rent it, I don't want anybody else there. And that's not being mean, but that's my money that I paid. Did they pay money too?
Right,
So that's something that needs to be addressed
right.
and is in the process of being addressed.
What are some other things that you've seen about it? Oh, is it going to be something discussed at the board meeting?
Probably not.
Oh, did you notice at the end of the board meeting, some complaints from the prior one they brought up at the end? Like somebody complained about a business that didn't have a permit, or did I miss something? It was right at the end before they went into closed session. They said, we're gonna address some citizens' concerns. And there was two things. One was a business that didn't have a permit for something, and he subsequently got the permit, and I can't remember what the other one was. But it was almost like, because I've said many times to the board members that will talk to me, that all these citizens go up there and talk and bring up issues, and you don't even acknowledge them, much less say, oh, we need to look into that, something. You know, you just feel so unheard.
You know, it used to be at the Board of Supervisors meeting, like right now, John Q. Public,
Mm-hmm.
me, can get up and speak before the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it used to be that John Q. Public could get up at the end of the meeting, and that way they could talk about what was discussed at the meeting.
Right,
Personally, Larry, I think we need to go back to that way.
right.
Because there's no, I feel like they do listen to me because I look at each one of them in the face when I'm up there talking. And I'm not talking just to hear myself talk.
Mm.
I'm talking on behalf of the county, and I do feel like the Board of Supervisors listens to what I say. Now, whether they take it in and do anything with it or not, I don't know.
Right.
But because and I believe you should look at whoever you're talking to, you should look at them in the eye. And
Yeah.
that's what I try to do with every board member. And if somebody comes to me and tells me, hey, so-and-so didn't do so-and-so, then I'm going to bring it to that person's attention because I feel like that person needs to know. I mean, that's just like if somebody complained to you about me, I would like to think that you would say, hey, Thurstie, Belle over here said that you said this. Maybe you want to address this.
Right,
Come to me.
right, right.
I'll listen, and the Board of Supervisors, for the most part, I think, does that.
So you're saying have the citizens speak at the end so they can give opinions on what they've brought up during the meeting and
Right.
such. For example, give me an example, like the last meeting, the main things were the Edmonds Park thing, the workforce housing thing. You mean so they can give feedback on things like that, those
Yes.
presentations? Okay, good.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
All right. But I think that one thing about addressing the citizens, I think that was their attempt to try and say we are listening and trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that's going to expand and get
I do think
better.
this board is, I think it's better, and it's going to be more proactive
Mm.
than the prior.
I just think it's too soon to tell.
I
personally.
do too.
Yeah.
But with the new members that were voted in,
Mhm.
I think that they truly have the best interests of the county in mind.
Mhm.
And not that I'm not anybody in this county. I'm just I'm just a citizen like everybody else. But I do think a lot of people in this county do respect me because I have been in this county for so long,
Right.
and I've done things in this county, and I think the board members that I know, I do think they respect me. I mean,
Right,
I hope so. Because a lot of them I've known for many years.
right.
But I think that the board members' hands are tied on a lot of things.
Mm.
Excuse me, by the state.
Mm.
Because the state determines how much money the county gets for different things.
Right,
And it has to be used for those things.
right.
So I understand that the Board of Supervisors' hands are tied on a lot of things. But I would love to see the books so I can see what the expenses are that the county pays out, that
Right.
I pay out, that
Right.
you pay out.
Right.
And I think that, think about with your household, you have to cut expenses. So why shouldn't they have to cut expenses?
Right.
And I think that we, as citizens of the county, need to know what they're spending their money on.
Well, not to bring up too sore of a topic, but this whole financial director situation, that was kind of wild, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we
Well-
have one now, but now the school board doesn't have that person because she was the school board
Right.
finance person, if I'm not mistaken, and now she's the county finance person.
Well, when I interviewed Mr. Braid, he brought up something that shocked me and amazed me, but was important. And you may or may not know this, that this county does not have a dedicated HR person.
Correct.
Yeah, so of course they're going to have staffing issues, right?
Mhm.
Because that's a big job to
Mhm.
dole out to other people. Secondly, they don't have any kind of community engagement
Mhm.
person to be the buffer between them and the public, take the information or do whatever. So I thought that was just a great point he brought up. I knew they didn't have the community engagement, but I had no idea they had no HR person.
Yeah, Ron and I have talked about the community engagement,
Right,
and we've got a couple of things that we've been talking about.
right,
Because I don't want to. I'm not going to abuse Ron.
mm,
He does have a lot of contacts, and Ron is so smart. He's got so much experience, and he's got contacts that I don't have. So we've talked about several things that we can collaborate with to do, to do in the county to make. Because when I was young, there was always something to do.
mm,
There's nothing to do. I mean, there's not even anything to do for me and you.
right.
You know, I mean, yeah, we can go out to eat, but and we have some good restaurants here. Some nicer, what I call upper end restaurants, and then we have fast food. There's nothing in between. You're right. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. It used to be dances all the time at different
Or
places here.
training classes, or people sharing their skills with each other, or what do you call it, like work.
Used to connect.
Conferences.
It's like a lot of networking
Yeah.
that you could do.
Yeah,
And you're right. Nobody really does that anymore. And like with the kids, that was a great idea about having a round table with the kids or the younger people to let them know, yes, you do have a voice.
right. And this does affect you.
It does. And it's going to affect them more than it's going to affect me and you because we're not teeny boppers anymore. So it's going to affect, all these decisions are going to really affect them
Right,
more than it's going to affect us.
right. Yeah, true. I had a conversation with Mr. Clark from Hitachi when he was the community engagement manager. There are so many different people they have just a whole section of internationality. People from all over the world that work there. What a great thing for the community if we could do something where everybody had like a little booth introducing their culture or something. That would be like a connection. There's so many things we can do here. We have the spaces for it, we have the places for it, we have the people for it. But yeah, just how do we bring it in? How do we herd those cats?
That's a neat idea too. That may be something that I can work
I got all
on.
kinds of ideas. I'm an idea person.
We can't do them all at one time. And doing things like that too, it takes money.
Of course. Yeah.
And
And it takes getting along. A lot of people bring their personalities in. It's like, oh, for God's sakes, can we please have a mutual goal here?
they used to have a thing at the World of Sports years ago
Right?
where different businesses came and they set up on the skating rink
Oh,
floor,
really?
and you could walk around and meet and talk to all of them.
That's cool.
So something like that would be really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that they do something somewhere similar to that with the job fair.
Yeah. They have one once in a while. They used to do stuff at the higher ed, but that's places kind of not doing
And
things.
see, we as citizens are supposed to be able to use any of the county schools at no cost
Really?
to host events.
I did not know that.
Now, that may have changed since we have a new high school,
Right.
but that's how it was. And I know that because I used to be a member of the Business Women's Association here.
Right.
And the Businesswoman is who does the Holiday Living Show every year.
Really?
And they don't have to pay for rent. Now, the school has somebody sitting at the front door that collects, I think it's, I don't know, $2 or $3 for you to come in.
Right.
And whatever money they take at the door goes to the school.
Right.
But you do not have to rent the school to have an event.
Right.
And I think it would be great to, see, I'm one that, I hope that the Board of Supervisors gets to where it's so many people that come that they have to move it to the high school, to the auditorium at the
Wouldn't
high
that
school.
be awesome?
That would be wonderful.
I went to something for town hall or town council at South Boston. I was the only person there. I couldn't believe it. And it was because I had a personal thing to deal with.
Well, people they're not engaged.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do to be engaged. I have talked to a former chairperson of the Republican Party here, and I asked her, I said, what can I do? What else can I do? And she said, Thurstie, you're doing everything that you possibly can.
Mm.
But we need to reach out to younger people. 11th, 12th graders would be good because, 18 you can vote.
Mm.
And they don't know what, a lot of them I don't think know what they're voting for.
Yeah.
But because I work the polls, it's so refreshing to see one of these teenagers come in. This is my first time to vote. Here's my idea, my ID. And that just makes me feel so good.
Yeah,
I wish more would come.
right,
I wish more people in the county would get involved.
right,
This is your county,
yeah.
and they need to get involved because it is their county.
Yes, I agree. We do very much need to get this county involved. So we've talked a little bit about the pros and cons of the board and not really be able to fairly formulate an opinion of the new board yet. But what are some things you'd really like to see them do, say, in the next 6 months?
We need a balanced budget for the county. One.
And that was one thing you said that is a strong principle of the Conservative Party is fiscal responsibility. Okay, I don't see how anybody could disagree with that.
I don't either.
The whole $500 hammer stories drive me insane.
Well, that's like the
It's-
$5,000 raise that they voted themselves last year.
Right.
Was very wrong. They knew that it was wrong. That's why they rescinded it, in
And
my opinion.
If anybody really looked at some of these
Uh-huh.
agencies that are part of this county, what they're spending money on, I'll give you an example, and this isn't to diss the higher ed center, but I worked there for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a grant for something and they spent it on equipment that no one ever used. I mean, this is literally was like, $300,000. It was a lot of money. And when it came in, they had to get people from Germany to come and train the teacher. And he said this was graduate level equipment. And it, I think one of the 5 pieces got you. And I thought to myself, I couldn't even get help for funding to buy these kids breakfast because they would come in and not have breakfast. And that's the kind of thing that made me nuts. That what are our, and we could take that to a state level, a national level,
Right.
whatever. But let's keep this local for now. But fiscal responsibility, huge. What else?
Yeah, that's really big to me, and definitely to the club. And we've talked about the youth. Yeah, there is nothing here to do, whether you're youth or adult. I would like to see the Board of Supervisors look for and invest in something recreational. And I don't mean Edmonds Park,
Right.
because it's a park.
It's not the end all be all. Yeah.
And, and it's nice. The current Edmonds Park is nice. If you want to go and look at the pond, or you have kids and you can carry them to the playground. But there's nowhere really for teenagers, young adults, to just go and socialize and have fun.
Right.
To go and dance. I mean, gosh, we did, and it was so much fun. There's some of my fondest memories.
Right.
I think about what memories are these kids going to have today? Nothing, because there's
Right.
nothing for them here to do.
And do you think that's why they're leaving? Everybody tells me the kids are all leaving. They just can't wait to get out of here. This is a retirement community.
And it is. It is a retirement community.
Mm.
And there's nothing else. Yes, there are some jobs here. Hitachi. They're getting ready to bring in, 800 jobs, I think.
Mm.
And I'm sure a lot of them are going to be high-level jobs.
Yeah.
But as a whole, there's nothing here to keep them here.
Mm.
We can't even keep some of our doctors here. They're leaving.
Right.
So we need to, there needs to be a common ground.
Right.
Everything is not technology.
Right.
My brother and my nephew are a prime example. Neither one of them have a college education. And they probably, if they work all year, if they're not laid off a part of the year, they probably make close to 6 figures a year.
Mm.
They're blue collar. But nobody pushes those jobs.
Right.
When your car breaks down, that tech guy's not going to fix it.
Right.
You need a mechanic.
I think that's part of what we learned in COVID, how important the trades were, because that's part of what I did as a teacher at the school, was train the kids, teach them how to do interviews, resumes, all that stuff. I was the work-based learning coordinator there.
Did anybody teach the girls how to sew?
Nope. Cook? Nope. Nope.
So home ec needs to be back in the high schools. The shop classes need to be back in the high
Practical
schools.
skills. Or, if we have the same place to have dances and town halls, why not have training conference things there to teach them? Yeah. So as a community, we could do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because everybody's got skills to teach.
I mean, my granny taught me. My granny died when I was 13. She taught me how to sew. She taught me how to cook.
Can?
No, I don't know how to can. I've got a canner, but I don't know how to use it.
I'm surprised there's not a machine for it, like the bread machine.
Well,
Makes your bread. It's awesome.
And I can't make homemade biscuits either. I've tried and tried and tried, and the dog wouldn't even eat it. But I still have those basic skills.
You make huggy bugs.
My daddy taught me how to change the oil in my car, how to change the alternator belt in my car. I don't even know if cars have alternator belts anymore, but he wanted to make sure I knew how to do that. How to pump gas.
Right.
Teenagers today, one, don't know how to pump gas. Two, are not allowed
Yeah.
to pump gas.
Yeah, it blew my mind some of the things the kids did. And these were high school students I
Right.
worked with. It blew my mind things they didn't know.
They're legally not allowed to pump gas.
Really?
That's ridiculous.
I did not know that.
That is ridiculous. If you go back and you look at the laws on record, it would blow your mind. Not just state, but federal. It would blow your mind. Do you know that on the books it's still something about horse carriages in town? With stomping and everything?
Right.
We haven't had horse carriages in years.
Well, we got some
But
Amish
it's
people.
But it's still on the books. I mean, that's
Right.
what I mean. It's old laws that are still on the books.
Right,
Some of them are useful. Most of them are not.
right.
And it's things like that that need to be cleaned up.
Yeah. Okay, so fiscal responsibility, recreation, what else are we covering about? And let's look at, how do you see Halifax County, we talked about 6 to 12 months, how do you see Halifax County like in 5 years? With a progressive functioning board?
I think if we have a good progressive board that truly looks at what is in the best interest for the citizens of Halifax County, this could go back to being a great county again. It is the second largest in the state. It is a lot of rural area, but it could go back to being great again. I would love to see all these empty buildings full of small businesses again. But a lot of the owners of these buildings, they want an extremely lot for monthly rent.
The Bean, Busy Bean, and then the coffee place came and didn't stay, that's $1,300 a month.
And that's ridiculous.
I was like, who can run a business and pay that kind of rent? And
That-
so many kids can't find places to rent for housing.
That to me, that is outrageous. And it's like I said at the board meeting Monday night, there are all these rules and regulations put on small businesses. I owned a small business here, and I had a successful small business.
What was it?
I owned a bridal shop, Timeless Traditions. It was on Seymour Drive.
Right.
But you have to pay this and this and this and this. A small business just starting can't do that.
But what's the solution? If somebody owns a building, they can charge whatever they want. There's no rent cap. We don't regulate that.
You're right, and that's when I want to reach out to the building owners. It is better to have somebody in your building than it is to let your building sit empty. So it's an advantage to you as a building owner to rent it and have somebody in it. Otherwise, it's going to be empty, it's not going to be used, and it's going to end up falling apart.
I could name several places that are just
I
like
can
that.
too.
Yeah.
I can too.
And it's so frustrating. I can't remember where it was. I want to say it was
Excuse me.
Mecklenburg County or somewhere. They started letting businesses use their building for free for the first year to help them get started, and then if it was successful, they'd start paying rent, And I thought, what a great idea.
Yeah. I would love to open another business. I mean, I loved my business. And I think most small business owners do have a lot invested in their business, and they take everything to heart, and they want it to be the best, and they want to expand, but they can't afford it.
Mm.
Downtown South Boston used to be full. You know, you would see people walking
Yeah.
down the streets and going into the businesses,
Yeah, even when I moved here.
and everything closes as soon as the sun comes up, almost. You know, they don't stay open anymore. You used to go out downtown South Boston was just a flutter with business. On Saturdays, now most of them aren't even open on Saturdays.
Mm.
A lot of businesses aren't open on Saturdays anymore, and that's really sad because the people that do work, they may need to go to True Value. Well, they close at noon on Saturday.
Mm.
So that's business they're losing.
But what they're gonna tell you is they can't afford staffing.
Well, you're right, they probably would say that, but look at the business that you're missing.
Mm.
I know my husband has needed to go over there several times on Saturday and they were closed, so he didn't get what he needed to get. So I think a lot of these small businesses, and I know, I didn't have the hours that I wanted to have because of finances, because of money. I would have loved to have been open 5 days a week.
Right,
And I couldn't afford it.
right.
You know, because time you pay, your payroll tax and your Social Security that you have to pay on behalf of the employee, the rent, the electric bill, the utilities, the water bill, your employees. I mean, it's really hard for a true small business. And when I say a small business, I mean like 10 or less employees.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and the county should do something to help a small business get started.
Mm.
Like I said, I would love to open another small. I don't know what I would. I've got so many ideas of things I would like to do, but I mean, it just needs to be something else, some other way that somebody can have a business in Halifax County.
Did you go to the Christmas parade they had in South Boston last year?
I did not.
It was lined up from one end to the other, packed. I covered that. I did a podcast on it. And there were so many people there from all walks of life, and it was fun, and they had floats. And it's like, I would love, I picture South Boston being like that all the time.
Mhm.
Like that's what reminded me of that, was you describing the hustle and bustle of downtown. Because I know when I moved here in 2002, it was a lot busier, and most places, had businesses and whatnot. And it's sad, but I don't think this is unique to South Boston.
I don't either.
A lot of small towns, I think this is happening to. I'm trying to think, South Hill I've been to was a lot of.
South Hill
Empty.
it is, but South Hill actually is a bigger, more populous area.
Yeah, true. Drake's
Then-
Branch.
And,
Drake's
and,
Branch,
and
that's
South Hill
another one
has a
that's
whole
kinda-
lot more to offer
Mm.
than what we do. I mean, we have 2 grocery stores, but they're both Food Line.
Maybe I'm
So
thinking.
there's no competition
I know
there.
I'm not thinking of Farmville. Farmville seems fine. I know there's
And Farmville is a college town.
where do you go on the way when you pass through Drake's Branch? Because I know when I go through there's nothing. It's just everything's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember stopping and talking to somebody, and they were like,
Talking about Charlotte Courthouse.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
That's a small town too, but that's a college town too. There's a small community college there.
Maybe I'm thinking, is it Mecklenburg High School? What town's that in?
Boyden.
Maybe I'm thinking of Boynton.
Boyden is very, very small.
But I'm just talking empty shops,
Yeah.
like South Boston. Yeah,
And the only reason I know that's because that's where one of my doctors, my neurologist is.
right.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's and it's very small. It's a cute, quaint little town.
I love little towns.
But you're right. I don't think it has much to offer anybody.
Yeah. And how do they survive?
They work in other areas because Boyden doesn't have any jobs really. So I think a lot of those people probably go to South Hill
Right,
because Clarksville doesn't have that many jobs either.
right.
All
Well,
the plants
Clarksville
have
has
moved away.
tourism in the lake.
Right.
They got that big piece to
Right.
it, And here, and when I've talked to a lot of officials throughout the county, they talk about Hitachi. Well, what if Hitachi left one day?
Exactly.
Well, you can't, again, that's all your eggs in one basket thing.
And I have to give kudos to Hitachi. They are they really want to do things to help the kids.
Yep, absolutely.
They really support
Yep.
all of that.
Yeah.
And I love that. Speaking of recreational things, there's actually a go-kart track in this county now.
Mm-hmm.
My brother built and owns that.
Where's
It's
this
in
at?
Virgilina
Virgilina.
on Lowry Road. It's
Yeah.
right off of Hico Road. It's going to open the middle of March, and a lot of people come to that. A lot of kids. I mean, we have, and that's a great community family type thing.
That's one I haven't covered yet. I
Mhm.
need a contact there to show me around and let's talk
Mhm.
about it. Yeah.
It's great, and everybody has so much fun, and there's no alcohol, and that's something that I really like because you don't need alcohol at everything.
Right.
And I love family-oriented events,
Right.
and he does that, and I wish you would come out. I mean, you would really, really enjoy it.
Mm. Yeah, I'm interested. See, do you know how many communities are in this county?
A lot.
It's over 50. I've actually got them on my website mapped out because I
Oh,
want
okay.
to try to hit them all.
Mhm.
And I've been to some really interesting places that,
Mhm.
like, I can't remember the name of some of them now, but it's amazing. This is a huge
It is.
county, and each one has little personalities.
Mhm.
Some of them have nothing but a church and a railroad station or
Mhm.
something. But I find that really interesting. I really like that. Going out and seeing some of these old places. And something else that was interesting going out here is seeing some of the buildings still up from like the Civil War.
Mhm.
Because when I moved here, because I'm originally from Georgia, I was
Mhm.
like, why is there so much Civil War history here? Well, Georgia got burned down,
Mhm.
so there's nothing there. So it's been real. I mean, I've like walked out through the briars to these fallen down shacks in the woods, to check them out.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of history and a lot of interesting things here. So what else do you think this county has going for it? We got Hitachi's a good thing. We got World of Sport's a good thing. We've got, what else is on a positive note here?
The people are, for the most part, friendly. It's not that expensive to raise a family here. And that's kind of pretty much it.
Mm.
I mean, sad to say, but really it is. It's not.
Do you think the political climate is a challenge for people here?
I don't think so. And I'm basing this on me working the polls and talking to different people.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Working the polls, I meet everybody that comes in to vote, because, I'm sitting there and I'm checking ID and all. Nobody, I haven't seen anybody get mad or upset or, no conflicts or anything. Now, there are some people here that will unfriend you, like on Facebook, if you have a different political affiliation than they do.
Mm.
I don't do that because you have the right to like whoever you want to. Do I want you to like my person? Of course I do.
Mm.
But you have the right to like whoever you want to. The only thing that I ask is if, for instance, if you were going to vote for Kamala, why? Just explain to me why. You're not right or wrong. Just I want to know what you're thinking.
Mm.
And if you were going to vote for Trump, why? Tell me why. I just want everybody to be educated on who they're voting for.
Informed choices is what you're saying.
Right.
Right.
Right. And I think a lot of people are still hung up on, well, my parents voted Republican, so I got to vote Republican. Or my parents are Democrat, I have to vote Democrat. No, you don't. Make up your own mind.
Right.
You went to school, you should be educated, you should have some common sense.
Mm.
So make an informed decision on who you vote for. For instance, there is a referendum coming up possibly in April. Not 100% sure yet it's going to be on the ballot or not. But know what that referendum is, completely understand it, and vote after you understand what the referendum is. All I ask is that you be educated. And that's one of kind of my personal task, I guess, with the people that I interact with and all. I want them to be educated. I try to keep them up to date on what's going on in the news, in the political world.
But let me ask you this, where do people get these sources of information? Because there's so much disinformation, misinformation, and all that out there now. Or they'll just listen to people talking. That's not an informed opinion.
It's not, come join my club. And you're right, there is a lot of misinformation out there. A lot, and especially if you go to the internet to search for something.
Mm-hmm.
There's really a lot. Now, I do stay in close contact with several people in the political arena that kind of keep me up to date on things. So I feel like the things that I know about.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know, just like I told you earlier, I don't know anything about that. If I don't know anything about it, I'm not going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to give misinformation. And the best, you have to be involved. I can't say that, okay, go to this channel on TV and watch it. Or go to this channel and watch it. Or go to this podcast. You have to make that decision on your own. And you just have to be really careful. I'm not one that likes to regulate things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to tell people, you must go here.
Mm-hmm. Do you think some people, though, get caught in an echo chamber and don't realize it?
I do.
Yeah.
And that's on both sides.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
They do.
Yeah, interesting. Let me ask you another question about, while we're talking about relationships in the county. How do you feel the racial relations are here in this county?
For the most part, I feel like they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we have any major problems between the two.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I have found out, being involved in politics, the length of time that I have, both sides want the same thing. Really, for the most part, they want the same thing.
Can you expound on that?
Oh, what was it, a couple of years ago I was talking? Well, finances. I mean, like fiscal responsibility. Everybody, both sides, want the government to be fiscally responsible.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want the government just wasting money.
Mm-hmm.
We all agree on that. It's just the way that we get there
Mm-hmm.
is what they don't agree with. And that's like, before I came over here, I was watching Fox News, and there was a guy on there talking about this referendum. No, I'm sorry, not the referendum. It's talking about voter ID.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two completely different sides of this. The Republicans want voter ID, which I'm 100% for, and I think it needs to be pictured ID. Right now, you don't have to have a picture ID. You have to have ID. It doesn't have to be pictured. There's a list of things that you can bring in to prove ID. The Democrats feel like that will keep people from voting if you enforce that. Well, no, it shouldn't, because what can you do that you don't have to have an ID for? To get a driver's license, initially you have to have a birth certificate, I think. To get Medicare, to get Medicaid, you have to have a photo ID. So there's so many different things that to go on a cruise, to get on a plane, you have to have a pictured ID. So why not have a pictured ID for voting?
Okay, and along that line, and it's interesting that you say that, because that's one of the biggest arguments about illegal immigrants here, is that they get all this stuff and you can't. You've got to have your stuff to do it. So what do you think about that?
I can't say those words on camera.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
And I kind of speak for myself, because, I mean, yes, I'm in a wheelchair. I am a cancer survivor, thank God. Then I was diagnosed with MS. And it has progressed to the point where I had to be in a wheelchair.
Mm.
It took me 4.5 years to get disability.
Mm.
And I had worked my entire life, my entire adult life. And to think that these illegal immigrants get all this stuff for free?
But no, my question was, I don't think they do get it for free. How do they without
Well, we
ID
pay for
receipt?
I don't know how they get it, but we're paying for it.
Before I put myself through college, I had a time that I needed social services, and I'm telling you, you've got to do cartwheels.
Yes,
and
you
this,
do.
that, and that. So I don't, in my mind, cannot comprehend how anybody's getting anything for free.
I don't.
My
I can't
husband,
either.
my husband's an immigrant, It took him 5 years to get his green card.
Mhm.
You know, we went through a god-awful lot to do that.
And that's what I understand. And you know, the legal immigrants that are here, they don't like these illegal immigrants getting all these perks.
But I don't think they're getting the perks. How are they getting the perks without? Do you
I think they are getting them. Now,
Okay,
how,
then what do
how
they-
I don't know.
That's
How,
what
I
I'm
don't
saying. Then
know.
what do? They go to social services, say, I'm illegal, I have no ID, give me money. They're not gonna do that.
Apparently they are somewhere.
I don't know, I'd have to see proof of that.
Well, see,
I
that,
can't
that's
imagine.
that's another thing when it comes to the physical responsibility. I think not just should our town print out the yearly budget in our local paper, but I think somewhere it needs to be where we can see what the federal budget is and where things are going. And I'm sure you can, but it'll probably take a Philadelphia lawyer to read it.
Mm. But you can even bring that down to the level of like a local board. Because part of some research I've been doing is about DSS, and they have a special welfare fund. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if you're aware of that. And they can't tell you who the recipients are. And it's just, but they can tell you who the vendors are. It's been a really interesting process that I'm not, that is one board, one. Do you know how many boards are in this county?
Too many.
A lot, there's a lot of boards, and ideally, I would think the board of supervisors is responsible. Who can oversee all that? It's not a full-time job. These guys meet once a month. I don't know how they do get anything done, really.
I think that's actually Ron's job, the county administrator.
The boards, overseeing all the boards?
Well,
Holy cow, how does
well,
he
the
administrate?
the board is Ron's boss.
Right, I understand that.
But I think Ron knows everything that's going on in the county. I think somehow, and I don't know, but I would think that somehow a lot of this stuff would have to pass his desk.
Mhm.
Now, if that's right or not, I don't know. If I'm wrong, Ron, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would think with him being the county administrator that it should go through, even if he doesn't have to approve it, it should go across his desk so he's aware of it.
Right. Maybe that's why federal government has so many subcommittees and sub this and sub that,
Yeah.
trying to manage stuff. But the thing is, there's no central communication. So it's like everybody's kind of renegade.
I
doing
would
their-
love to go to DC and speak. I would love to.
What would you say?
Oh, can't say that on camera either.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We're being transparent.
So
Everybody's favorite word.
they need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. What they're doing to this country is ridiculous.
But we're probably around the same age. It's been that way our whole lives.
Well, no, it's worse now, I think, than it's...
I'm just saying as
It
far
is
as
being-
corruption. See, and
Yeah.
one thing I've kind of felt, this isn't left, right, conservative, liberal, Republican, this is rich versus poor. That's how I see it,
Mhm.
you know. And that's, even on a local level, I feel like poverty's not really addressed here. Because the poverty is what leads to the drugs, the unemployment. It's the caveat for all the issues.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I never considered myself poor, but if you look at the income
Mhm.
range,
Right.
I'm in the poverty level, and I've never considered myself poor, but according to statistics,
Right.
I'm in the poverty level, and that's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
it's a shame that drugs cost so much, and I mean prescription drugs, not illegal drugs.
right.
For example, you know, the shot that I take once a month for my MS
Mhm.
is $8,000.
Mm.
Now, who can afford $8,000? Thank God the pharmaceutical company works for me, and I've got great insurance.
Right.
But that's ridiculous. There's no reason where any drug in the United States should cost that much. But, and this is where the federal government needs to step in, we need to quit getting drugs and everything from overseas.
Mm.
You know, people here need jobs. Start a pharmaceutical company that can do all of these drugs. Don't tell me it can't be done, because it can.
But if we're not emphasizing education on our kids, how are they gonna?
Well, not all of those jobs, you know, a lot of those jobs are going to be blue collar jobs.
Mm.
You know, you don't have to have necessarily a PhD
Mm.
to do some of these jobs. I mean, you know,
Well,
somebody's
to
got to
formulate-
sweep the floors.
Yeah, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about like formulating prescriptions and all that good stuff.
Well, they already know
Research
that.
and development, all
They
that.
already know all of that.
We don't have the cures yet. There's no money in a cure.
Well, I mean, that's true, but I believe that there is a cure out there for everything.
Yeah.
And you're right, we don't. But all these drugs that these doctors put patients on could be made right here in the United States.
Mm.
We're buying them from China. China could poison and kill all of us.
Because everybody wants to save money. It's like labor that's farmed out, these call centers, doesn't that drive you nuts that you call and it's somebody from India that you can't understand? I'm not
And
trying
that's
to
when
be-
I'll say, can I speak to your manager, please?
You know, yeah, but it's they farmed it out because
Mhm.
I lived in China for almost a decade.
Oh,
Yeah, and there, those people will work an 18-hour day for a bowl of rice. They just want to survive. Here, we've got to have this, that. But what's the happy medium? You've got to have a living wage to survive. You know, you can't be thrown further in this you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's such a dilemma, a dichotomy.
well, nobody that flips burgers should be making $15 an hour.
Mm,
That's an entry-level job.
mm.
And they shouldn't be making that, I'm sorry. Now, jobs that require a lot of education, yes, they should be making, good money. But there is a happy medium. I mean, but people have got to sit down and they've got to talk.
Mm.
And I don't mean yell at each other and
Right.
tell each other that they're wrong, because I'm sure you don't agree with everything that I do, and that's okay.
Right.
That's your right. But we can sit down and talk.
I think that's what we're doing right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can sit down and talk, and if you were to tell me something I didn't agree with, I want to, why do you think that way?
Yeah.
And then that's just like if I said something you don't agree with, I would like for you to say, Thurstie, why do you think that way?
Mm.
And I'm going to give you the reasons why I think that way.
Mm.
And that's where communication starts.
And then we get our phones and fact check each other. Because I have one person that we're on polar opposites there. And that's it. It's like something will get thrown at me. I'm like, where'd you see that? Show me that. What are you talking about? You know, and that's okay too.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
yeah. I can
And it doesn't need to be on this.
Right.
You need to sit down and you need to talk to people face to face.
Yeah.
We need a lot more of that.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Well, what else would you like to contribute to this conversation before we wind it up? And I know there's a lot we could talk about at another time, because I just kind of wanted to keep this on a local level for now and get to know you, because that's my purpose. And then we can meet again and talk about, because I know there's other things you want to talk about.
And I mean, I'm not going to bite your head off. I'm pretty
I know, it's
okay.
just
I'm pretty okay. Yeah, I want everybody to know about the Conservative Club.
Okay.
And we are trying to do the best that we can in this county, and we really want to get people motivated to come out and vote and get involved.
Tell them how to contact you.
My name is Thurstie Sherman. I am the chairperson for the Southside Virginia Conservatives Club. You can reach me at 434-579-6416. 434-579-6416. If I don't answer the phone, leave a message and I promise I will get back with you within 24 hours at the most. Usually it's going to be between, 5 hours at the most, but I will get back with you. If you have any questions, call me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you or meet you somewhere. I love to go out to eat. So I can meet you anywhere and we can talk and I can let you know about our club and what we're trying to do.
Even if it's just ideas, opinions, feedback. Yeah. It's not like you have to join the club.
Right, and you can come to our meeting. You do not have to pay to come to our meetings.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
You have to pay and become a member if you want to vote
Right.
on anything. But anybody can come to our meetings.
What would people vote on?
We have different things that comes up that we have to vote on.
Officers or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just did that. New officers were elected and took office January 1, so I'll be the chair for the next 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea how these clubs work. I just
But-
hear about them.
But then there are some other things that, like if my supervisors, or not supervisors, executive board, I'm trying to find the right word. The executive board meets, and there are a lot of things that we will make decisions on, the five of us. But if it involves money, then we carry that to the general membership.
Right.
If it's an event that we want to do, now we've already done the fly kite, last year, so we all know about that. But if there's another event that comes up that we want to do, the membership votes on it. So don't feel like you don't have a voice with us, because you do have a voice.
Right. Okay.
And I really, and we do different things for different, local politicians, and state, we try to promote the conservative candidates.
Right.
But everybody is welcome to come join us, come to a meeting, see what we're all about. If you like what you see and what you hear, membership is only $20 a year. And if you don't, it's no hard feelings. I don't take anything personal, but at least you gave us a shot. You came out to see what we were all about, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. If nothing else, ask questions. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. For any club.
Usually I do try to keep the meetings around an hour. I don't really like going over an hour because you lose people's attention.
Mm.
But
Yes.
there are times when the meetings do go long. I think the longest one has been is an hour and a half.
Right.
But I'm sure with everything that's going on this year in politics, we're probably going to have some meetings that are going to be 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kind of like any of the boards and stuff.
Right.
So. Okay.
But it won't go till 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's enough. Well, I appreciate your time, and it was great meeting you and
It's
talking
great
to you.
meeting you.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for viewing, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.